Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Tom Stark. And Len, thank you so much for having me on today and hosting the call and organizing all this. You put a lot of time into this, and I truly appreciate it. And for everyone who's here, thank you so much for joining. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be talking about this morning until maybe, an hour ago or so. Really, it's amazing how things work. But the thing that's been on my heart and what I want to share with you today is very simple, and that's how to build your testimony. How to build your testimony, whether it's through products, whether it's through your business development, but how do you build your testimony? I was really impressed with something yesterday, and I don't mean impressed to self-glorify, but there was something that happened that was very unexpected. It was not planned, and I just want to make you aware of that. So Laura Slowinski and I teach an online marketing 101 course. And just prior to the course, starting yesterday, we started to talk a little bit about profile pictures on Twitter or on Facebook. And I said, that picture that was up on my Twitter feed was a picture from May. And, I've lost almost 15 pounds since May, and I did it in a very short time. And so somebody then said, well, you need to take a picture. You need to change your profile picture. So I did that. Or she did it. Jan Olson took the picture, changed everything, and then I put it up later in the day. I put it up on Facebook. What I didn't realize at the time I did it is that I had a before and I had an after. I had a before picture and I had an after picture, and it was really in a very condensed period of time. So if you've noticed on the webinars, I've changed, for those of you that are on the webinars and you've heard me before, you know about a surgical scar that was removed. I've changed that recently to my weight loss goal. And I had a weight loss goal at the beginning of the year. I met that goal in 6 months. And so I've changed my testimony some to talk about that. But one of the visual evidences of that is the fact that I have a before picture just before I started this weight loss program and an after picture. It becomes part of the testimony. And so it's something that, I know people in our team do this, or that there are certain things that we put out there, but are we really capitalizing on it? Are we really taking the time to look and say, hey, I have accomplished something and I want to share it. It is my testimony. And incorporate that into what we're doing. Incorporate that into everything that we're doing. So I'm going to give you a couple examples just from people who are typically on this call. Several months ago, I'm going to say 6 months ago, maybe a little more than that, Mario Fake Binder had a goal, and that was to do a 30-day challenge on doing video. And he did. He did it for 30 days. And then, I watched him grow. I watched him grow in comfort to the point where now he's doing video at least one a day, and he's very, very consistent with it. It's a testimony. It's a testimony. Here's a goal. Here's what I've accomplished. And boom, put it out there. I've met this thing. Now I have a 90-day challenge, and this is where I'm going with it. Laura Slowinski has a goal. Now, one of those goals is to do her daily minutes, and she is about 98% on in terms of getting those out there. But she also has another goal, and that goal is to talk about product and get product out in front of people. And yesterday during our online marketing training, she whips out a little bottle of the sanitizer and talks to everybody in the room about what that product has done for her health and her family's health. It was very powerful. It's a new thing that she's doing, and from that she's going to be garnering customers. She's going to be garnering new customers. Maybe people out of our group, or maybe people wherever she goes and she does this, but it's a very cool thing. It's a very cool technique. You have a before, you're going to have a how, and you're going to have an after. You have a before, this is what my circumstances today, this is what the how is, this is what I'm doing, and you have an after, you have what the result is. And there is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be building our testimonies and looking for new testimonies, looking for new ways to share what it is that we do. So one of the things that I commented on, and I think I even did a training on it on this call a few weeks ago, is that over Labor Day weekend, I looked at some of my annual goals. I reviewed them. I'm getting ready for the fourth quarter of this calendar year. And in getting ready for that fourth quarter, I realized that, that the weight loss goal, I met it, I achieved it, and I need to talk about it because that is something that I personally set. Hopefully that is something that people will become to see. They'll know, they like, they trust, and they're going to say, wow, wait a minute, what happened with that? How did you accomplish that? The second thing is, as I started looking at my goals, I also realized that a goal for a quarter, for 3 months, isn't really sufficient anymore because we're getting ready to enter into a new year. It's not that far down the road. So I've started to look at my goals not just for the next 3 months, but for the next 15 months. Actually, for the next 18 months. So, goals that will carry me into 2019. But along the way, as those goals are accomplished, those goals become testimonies. They become testimonies. They are things that we need to get out there and share. This is how my life has changed. This is how my life is different. This is how your life could change. This is how your life can be different. And it's amazing, when we start to apply those principles, you get these unintended consequences. You get the consequence of being able to share. You get the consequence of being able to tell what happened in your life. People, I believe, will gravitate to that because they understand, they see that there's something that's different. So where you have those opportunities to get out there, where you have those opportunities to say, this is my goal, I'm gonna achieve it. And when it's achieved, you don't just mark it off. You mark it off with a celebration. And that celebration is saying to people, you know what, this is different. I've accomplished this in my life. This is amazing. I've been reading a book recently, and the book's entitled The One Thing. It's a book by Gary Keller, and it's a book that I borrowed from Laura. And somewhere out there, this book has really made an impact because we break our day down into what is the one thing that's the most important. The one thing that's most important. And that one thing for me is that I need to talk to more people. I need to connect with more people. It's like a domino effect, and I mentioned this on a previous call. Once that first domino goes down, then a lot of other dominoes can go down if you have them properly stacked. So it's not just being able to knock a domino down, not just being able to achieve a goal, but it's to have other things lined up behind it. And so when we're moving with intentionality, when we are saying, this is what I'm going to accomplish, and this is how I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to plan for it, it's how I'm going to move into that, then all of a sudden, when that first domino falls, other dominoes fall. And then the dominoes can get bigger and bigger and bigger. The impact of it all just goes out exponentially. It's amazing what it can do. Some of you guys know Ray Higdon. You know him. I don't know him personally. Occasionally I follow him. But one thing I know about Ray Higdon is this. He was broke. He had nothing. He was in foreclosure. He made a goal for himself. And that goal was to get 20 no's a day. To get 20 no's a day. And I'm guessing, maybe I'm making this up, but he met that goal. He did it repeatedly. It became a habitual habit, but in doing so, it was a goal that he met. Now, when I hear him talk, when I see the credibility that he's built, it's not because he's a successful person, teaching people, influencing people with money coming out of his ears. It's because he had that goal. That's part of his testimony. That's part of his story. And so with that, Len, I'd like to close with this. We all have stories. We all have testimonies. If we just stay with one, then we're going to get stuck. Ultimately, we get stuck because we're not showing movement, we're not showing progress, and we need to move beyond that. So we do that with kind of before examples. We do that with how we did it, and we do that with the after effect, the after example, and then we celebrate it and we put it out there for people to know. With that, Len, I'd like to say thank you very much again. I'm going to bring the call back to you, and I hope everyone has a blessed and powerful weekend.